JBR3 Collector back with my Avengers tier ranking list again. Might be asking what I'm doing. So since the previous video, I decided I wanted to add two more categories to this. I wanted to add an E and an F. I can separate them a little bit further. And I decided I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to finish off the entire Avengers roster of all time. I went through and found like every Avengers team I could find. I did not do the Savage Avengers because that run's not done yet, so they're still going to be adding new characters throughout that whole time. And I didn't do the 1 million BC Avengers because I don't think that team should really count. So we're just going from the time the Avengers assembled up until 2021. So made some changes to our ranking here since the last time you guys saw this. The S tier is still the big three. A tier, you notice like Hercules and Black Knight and Wonder Man are no longer in A tier. I moved them down to B tier and brought some of the and moved some of the other B tier people I had down and left others there. Like the Hulk is still B tier, She-Hulk is still B tier. Now Wonder Man and Hercules and them all joined. Beast, who was B tier, is now C tier along with Quicksilver. Although I think I might put Quicksilver in B tier. And then C tier, we got some West Coast Avengers, Hellcat and Beast. D, we go down to some more minor Avengers members, more West Coast Avengers guys, and then E, some more even more minor Avengers, and then F are people who were on the team for a very short amount of time or didn't do anything on the team. So yeah, let's continue. This time, instead of it going alphabetically, it goes more or less timeline-wise. If you know, we left off with the Avengers Disassembled event, so we're going to start off with the new Avengers. Some of them are all mixed together because I eventually started doing like spin-off Avengers teams, like the more West Coast Avengers and stuff like that, and that was a whole different list. I had to go back and forth and try to find everybody. And if you know anything about me, I'm not a reader of a lot of the modern comics, so I'm going to try to keep this as unbiased as possible based on what I know people's opinions are of these characters. Of course, my bias is going to go in there a little bit, but I think I'm going to do a pretty fair, honest job of ranking these people where they actually belong. So anyways, we're going to start off with Luke Cage, and Luke is going to go not in E tier, not in D tier, and it sucks because we have so many tiers now that it's hard, but Luke Cage is going to go all the way to C tier because he's been a staple member of the Avengers since he joined in the new Avengers, and he's made quite a good name for himself as an Avenger. I believe he even led the team at one point. So then we got Wolverine, who is going straight up to join Mr. Cage. It sucks I have to scroll so far for this. In C tier, along with Spider-Man, there's 3 new Avengers there in C tier. So I think that's pretty good rankings for those guys. And then the Sentry, who was on the new Avengers and then left them and went to the Dark Avengers. He's also on the Mighty Avengers after Civil War. But he's been more of a bad guy than he was a good guy. Put him in D tier rather than C with the rest of the new Avengers there. I hate that this is this ad closed by Google on top. I'm sorry that that's there. I cannot get rid of that. But yeah, there's the Sentry there in D tier. Then we have Ronan, this is Echo as Ronan. She was not around for very long. Actually, I think I'll put her in D tier as well. So there's Echo as Ronan. Hawkeye as Ronan's not on this list because Hawkeye is already up in A tier, and him as Ronan is also A tier because that's him all around. So there's Echo as Ronan there. Then we have Aries, the God of War. Again, another guy who was on the Dark Avengers alongside Sentry. He's also going to go to D tier. He also had a decent run as a Mighty Avenger soon after the Civil War ended. Come on. There we go. So I think he had a pretty major role on the Mighty Avengers and then a pretty big role in the Dark Avengers. So I think he belongs in D tier. We have Amadeus Cho, who I tried looking up. I don't think he ever appeared as the Hulk, as Amadeus Cho Hulk in the Avengers. But he did appear as Amadeus Cho himself is in the Avengers. And he teamed up with Hercules a lot during his run there. Didn't do a whole lot. He may even go in F. But no, I'll put him in E. I think E is okay. And then Joe Costa. Some people might say, how's Joe Costa not earlier on? From all I could tell, she teamed up with the Avengers a lot back in like the 70s and 80s, or maybe it was just the 80s. My timeline's a little off, but she didn't become an actual official Avenger until 2007. So, but she's gonna go in E tier as well. And then we have the Young Avengers, who I'm going to put fairly high. People love the Young Avengers, and myself included. I love them a little bit less than other people love them. But I will put them high enough here that they're going C tier. That's pretty good, I think, for the Young Avengers. It's one of the higher rankings I think we're going to get for a lot of these characters. Winter Soldier as Captain America. Trying to scroll up. It's really hard with this setup here. I will put the Winter Soldier also in C tier. I thought his run as Captain America was really, really good. The whole Dark Avengers, Dark Reign era was pretty good storytelling, I think. So I'll put him in C tier. I actually don't know how much Winter Soldier has done with the Avengers since then, but you have Spider-Woman, who is also joining the other new Avengers in C tier. People might argue with me that she joined the Avengers earlier than Winter Soldier there, but that was a Skrull imposter Spider-Woman, and this is the real Spider-Woman joining in 2007, 2008. And it's funny, she's actually ended up right beneath the other Spider-Woman there. That's pretty funny. Okay, next is Valkyrie, who, for all my money, is more of a defender than an Avenger. I put her in E on accident, but, I think she's going to stay in E. I don't think she was on the Secret Avengers for very, very long. I mean, she was the whole run, but after that, I don't think she's been on the Avengers. I'll put her in D just because in the movies now, she's an Avenger too. And, try to take all forms of media into consideration for this. I did have one person get frustrated with me because the Hulk was so low. Because of his media appearances, he's always with the Avengers. It's just for me personally, the Hulk was gone from the team for so many years. maybe with this new ranking here, he'll maybe the people will be more satisfied. Anyways, let's go back. We got Nova, Richard Rider. He was also part of that Secret Avengers team with Valkyrie. I'll put him in D as well, alongside his other New Warriors counterparts. I'll put him next to them just for fun there. There's Firestar, Justice, and Nova. 3 of the original New Warriors all together there in D tier. And then Eric O'Grady, Ant-Man. He was on the Secret Avengers. He's going to go to F tier because he's just an asshole of a character. And I think he was an imposter for half of that run. So yeah, he was really not a big part of that. Next is Iron Fist, who's another new Avenger. He will go fairly high. Maybe not as high as the other new Avengers, though. I think Iron Fist will go in D tier. Because he didn't join in the beginning like the others did, and I don't think his run was quite as lengthy or important as them. Then we have Luke Cage's wife, Jessica Jones, and same thing as Iron Fist. I don't think her run was nearly as impressive. She's going to go to E tier, but she wasn't bad, so she's not going to go F, but E is good. The Protector, he's going to go to F. Because he didn't do anything as far as I can remember on the Avengers. He's also Marvel Boy from the Young Avengers, which he technically gets 2 rankings because of that. He is in the Young Avengers. I don't know if he's in that picture, but I'm counting him as part of that group in that picture. So as Marvel Boy, he's a C. As Protector, he is an F. Yes. And then you got Doctor Strange, the master of the mystic arts. It's actually so crazy how long it took Doctor Strange to become an Avenger. And he wasn't really a big part of it for very long, but I'll put him in D just because even though he wasn't an Avenger for super long, he is in the movies. And he's definitely better than Dr. Druid as being a sorcerer. So, yeah, Doctor Strange will be a D tier. The Red Hulk. This is the original Red Hulk. I think E is fine for him. I don't think the Red Hulk really fits with the Avengers very well. So E. Daredevil, a guy who was offered membership to the New Avengers originally and turned them down, and then ended up becoming a New Avenger later on. I don't think he had a very long role with the Avengers either, though, so I'll put him in E as well. Storm of the X-Men. Storm was at the time, the 3rd X-Men member to join the Avengers, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, there's Wolverine, Beast. Or Beast is first, then Wolverine. And that was 30 years difference between Beast and Wolverine. And then Storm joined 5 years after Wolverine. So, Storm was a pretty good fit with the Avengers. I'm going to put her D. Because I don't think she was around the Avengers for very, very long, but she was good when she was there. Thinking about putting Daredevil a little bit higher, but I don't think he was around very long, and he's much more of a solo hero. Then we have Quake, who's also she's on the U.S. Avengers here on the cover, but I think she was also on the Secret Avengers. I know she was on the Secret Warriors for sure, but I think she was a Secret Avenger. I'll put her in D. I think I'll also move Daredevil to D. No, Daredevil stay in E. Sorry, I keep going back and forth on that, but Quake is a D. Agent Venom. Um, People love Agent Venom. He'll go in D. Secret Avenger. He's also a Guardians of the Galaxy member. Yeah, not much else to say about Agent Venom. I don't think Venom, as a character, Venom himself is not very good to be on the team. But if any of the Venoms are going to be an Avenger, it'd be Agent Venom is okay. I know Eddie Brock Venom is on the Savage Avengers, and yeah, they're not on my. He's not on my list. Maybe in a couple years, next time I do this, maybe he'll be. You have Captain Britain, who's also on the Secret Avengers. It's going to be D or E for him as well. Because I don't think, again, another character who didn't have a super long run. That's a big problem with all the characters in this era of comics, is a lot of them were not on the team for very long. So it's hard for them to rank high, you know? I'll put Captain Britain in D. That's fine. That's fine. Havoc. I know he was a part of the Uncanny Avengers in the Marvel Now run. Was he the leader of the Avengers in that run too? People liked him. I personally don't like. Again, more X-Men on the Avengers. This run specifically here started introducing a ton of X-Men into the Avengers, and I just could not do that. Could not get into that. But I think Havoc, of all the choices they'd made, I think Havoc's one of the better members to join. Maybe he can go in D. I'm trying to be fair here. It's kind of hard, but yeah, Havoc can go in D. Sunspot, I know he was leader of a few Avengers teams. He'll go a little bit higher too, but I also say I like Sunspot on the Havoc on the team more than I like Sunspot, but he was a big part of a couple Avengers teams here. And then this guy's name is Manifold, I believe. I'm gonna put him in F. I don't know anything about this character. I wasn't reading comics during Marvel Now. Marvel Now is what got me out of comics. So, yeah, put him in F. Then there's Shang-Chi, who will go in E, just because he's about to be a big deal with the Avengers in the movies, probably. I don't think his run in Marvel Now was really great, but yeah. Next we got Smasher, who I think the male version of Smasher was an Shi'ar Imperial Guard. The female Smasher, I don't know what she did with the Avengers. Was not on them for very long. But in that same Marvel Now run. Hyperion, however, I know the Hyperion's been a member of not the Avengers, but he's like fought the Avengers and stuff a lot. Different versions of Hyperion. But he's been off and on. He's been a pretty consistent like thorn in the Avengers side, at least for a while. I'll put him up here in C. Just because Hyperion has such a long history with Marvel, it's more understandable for him to become an Avenger than some of these other characters. And I know he did pretty big things with Thor in Secret War, or leading up to Secret Wars. So, Rogue, another big name X-Men character. I'll put her in E just to be nice. Yeah. Sunfire, same thing. I'll put him in E just to be nice. Most of these X-Men characters I prefer as X-Men. They'd all rank higher on X-Men lists than they do on an Avengers list. but that's all we have. Abyss, didn't even know who this character was. It was really hard to figure out who she was, so I'm putting her in F, along with Ex Nihilo, who they joined the team together. They're really low ranking for me. Cannonball. At least I know who Cannonball is, so he will go with the other X-Men I just put here. Yeah, and this video is probably not as interesting as the other one, as the first episode, because I know a lot less of these newer Avengers runs than I do the old ones. So yeah, Cannonball, I'm sure he did fine. But again, more X-Men on the Avengers. This is a twofer here. Starbrand and God, I can't think of the guy's name. But I'll put them a little bit higher just because I know they were kind of a big deal when they were on the team for a minute. I don't want to put them in D. But I think they're a bigger deal than most people here in ER. So I'll put them in D, I guess. Especially because I know Starbrand is a Starbrand going back to the BC Avengers now, you know, so I guess he's kind of a big deal. Then we have I know this guy's name. He's from the Runaways, I believe. I can't remember his name, but anyways, Victor Mancha, I believe, right? Okay. Yeah, he was on Avengers AI. We'll put him in D. I mean F, not D. F. Don't think he was a big part of the Avengers after that. Captain Universe, the female Captain Universe. I'll put her in E as well. Not much else to say. I don't think she was on the team for super long either. But she's more. But Captain Universe as a character is more important than any other characters in F there. So, yeah, Doombot, F. It's just a Doombot on the AI team. I think I need to pause this because some of these characters I'm having a hard time remembering their names because I didn't read these runs with these characters in them. So I'm gonna have to go grab my list and is Alexis the Protector, and this is a character I've never even heard of. So F, these modern characters that I don't know, it's really hard for me to rank them. And I know a lot about Marvel Comics. These modern stories, just don't interest me. And so I can't rank someone unbiasedly if I never even heard of them before. So, next is Blade as Ronan. Don't know how. I think Blade's still on the Avengers. Actually, I just read the new Heroes Reborn story from 2021, and Blade was a big part of that storyline with the Avengers. I liked that. I actually quite enjoyed that story. It's the first modern story I've read in a while. Yeah, I'll put him. Honestly, he was so good in that story. I might even put him in C. I think Blade's a good addition to the Avengers, but I'll leave him in D with the other Ronan, Echo. And I remember the guy's name from Starbrand now. It's Night Mask. That was hard to keep track of. Next is Blue Marvel, character that lots of people love. I don't dislike Blue Marvel. I just think he's just another Marvel Superman, kind of. Just, a black Marvel Superman, which is cool. Like, I think he's a cool looking character. He's just, they have a lot of the same character at this point. But anyways, I'll put him next to Hyperion here and see. Still a really cool character and everything. Nothing wrong with the character. It's just, he's so similar to like Hyperion, for example. And, it's it's hard to care about characters when there's so many of the same type running around. But that's cool. He gets a pretty high ranking, I think. Then we got can't remember his last name, but Victor as Power Man. I know him mostly from the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, actually, honestly. I think he was Luke Cage in the cartoon, though. But anyways, it's Victor. I think his last name's Alvarez or something like that. I know he's Hispanic. Actually, I'm going to put him in F because he's a teenage character. I'll get to this. I put him right next to Rage on purpose there. I mentioned in the previous video that Rage was kicked off of the Avengers for being a teenage boy. They don't want children on the Avengers, but they allow children on the Avengers right here with Victor here. And yeah, I just don't really appreciate that. I mean, I guess the Young Avengers ranked high because they're mostly their own team compared to this individual guy. Yeah, I'll put him in F. But Ava Ayala, who's also a teenager, I'll put her a little higher because I just think she's more skilled in her abilities. And then she's, literally the niece of Hector Ayala, the original White Tiger. And I think that makes her a little bit more standoutish as a solo hero that can actually hang with the Avengers. And so I'll put her in E. Again, I don't know how their whole story went. I don't know how their entire story panned out in the Avengers. But I know they were on the Mighty Avenger. I think I read one issue with them in it. So put her in E and Victor in F. Plus, I think Victor's not a good character. So then there's Kalu, some sorcerer. He's been around for a while. I didn't even know he joined the Avengers. I don't know how long he was with the team, but I know he's been a long-running Marvel character. I'll put him in E. He's got to be at least he can't be any worse than Dr. Druid was. So, and then we got Sam Alexander Nova, another teenage boy joining the Avengers. But Sam, I think, also did a better job with the team than Victor did. I think he was on the team for a bit longer, and I think he's a pretty well liked character by most. So, trying to be unbiased here. If it was me, I'd put Sam in F, but I'll put him higher just for the fans. Put him in D. So there's Sam Alexander Nova. Next is Brother Voodoo, another good sorcerer who I'm surprised took so long to join the Avengers. Because he teamed up with the Avengers several times back in the day, but actually joining the Avengers, it wasn't until after Marvel Now. So that's kind of crazy to me. I'm gonna put him fairly high because I think he's a good fit for the Avengers. I think he is at least on Doctor Strange's level here. So yeah, there's Brother Voodoo, Dr. Voodoo. But I think he's also on the Savage Avengers now too. But I don't think he had a big impact like these other people here in C tier did. So I'll leave him in D. Jane Foster Thor. She will go pretty high. And in the previous video, I mentioned how Thunderstrike was not a good replacement for Thor for the Avengers. As Thor, he was great, but when he just became Thunderstrike again, he was not. Jane Foster did a pretty good job replacing Thor on the team. I will put her in C along with U.S. Agent and War Machine, who are good replacements for Captain America and Iron Man. Jane Foster is a good replacement for Thor. So, and then Bucky Cap's also there as a good replacement for Captain America. So, yeah, I put her there. There's probably not going to be anyone joining the top 3, by the way. I Probably should spoil that for you guys. Maybe. If anyone's going to go in top 3, it actually may be Jane Foster Thor. But it's hard to say. Then we got Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, who actually, another teenager who should not be on the Avengers. But she is. She's been an Avenger for quite a while now. She's a big part of that Avengers video game that just came out. Even though I don't personally like this character, I gotta be unbiased here, and she is a fairly important member of the Avengers at this point. I mean, she was the main star of that video game. I'm gonna put her in B tier, and I can't believe I'm doing that. And she's gonna be in the MCU soon too. She's gonna get a big role there. This character is gonna be she's a big part of the Avengers now. So I'll put her in B tier. Pains me to do so, but I'm doing it. So there she goes. Nobody can call me biased after that. So next is Miles Morales. Again, another teenager who should not have been on the team. It's not fair for poor Rage. But Miles has been on the team for quite a while as well now. I'll put him in D because I don't think... no, I'll be nice. I'll put him in C with Jane Foster Thor and Spider-Man. On the same level as Spider-Man with the Avengers. That just doesn't feel right. But I think I do actually consider Miles less of a solo hero than I do Spider-Man. So I guess that's fine. That's fine. I guess. Next is Deadpool. Really should not be on the Avengers at all. F tier. This is Synapse, another character I actually don't know. So F tier. The Human Torch, Johnny Storm. I don't know how long he was on the team, but I'll put him in E just because he's the Human Torch. I'll be nice and put him next to the other Human Torch and his sister there. So finally, all 4 members of the original Fantastic Four have been part of the Avengers, and it took a long time for Johnny to get on the team. It says 2013 here, so that's kind of crazy. It took him so long, but yeah. So I'm sure he was fine on the team, but not super important. There's actually a lot of fire-powered characters right here in E tier. You got Sunfire, Human Torch, Human Torch again, Red Hulk. Yeah. Cable, another X-Men character. I'm gonna put Cable in F. I really don't think Cable. I'll put him in E, I guess. I actually kind of liked his dynamic with Captain America back in the Civil War, so that's why I'm putting him in E. I don't think he did great otherwise with the team. I grabbed someone on accident. Who's that? It's Pod. Okay, Pod's F. Nadia Van Dyne, Wasp's child, I'm assuming, daughter. I'll put her in E. She's I have never read a comic with her in it, but just because she's the Wasp kid, makes sense for her to go in E, I guess. Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider. The first Ghost Rider to join the Avengers, which is mind-blowing to me. Unless you count that Avengers 1 million BC where the guy with the mammoth. And then Johnny Blaze now on the Savage Avengers. But Robbie, for a modern character, I actually like Robbie quite a bit. I'll put him in D tier, I think. I think it's cool to have the Ghost Rider finally on the Avengers. I'm surprised it took, 50 years to get a Ghost Rider to join the Avengers. Because, this is the 50th anniversary of Ghost Rider this year. And, yeah, I'm surprised it took so long for him to finally join the team. I mean, he was on the champions, and he was on the Midnight Suns and the Secret Defenders. But yeah, Avenger, never till now. So Robbie Reyes. This is, I believe his name is Flux. Yes. He's more of an honorary Avenger. He was in one comic and then he died, so F. This is the Avengers Academy kids. Like, let's see their names: Finesse, Hazmat, Metal, Reptile, Striker, Lightspeed, X-23. Yeah, they were like Avengers in training or something like that. I heard it was a pretty good story. I didn't read it personally, so I can't comment, but it's because I heard it's a good story. I'll put them in E. If I was to separate them further, like X-23, I would not put high. But like that metal guy, I think he's the red guy, I believe, and Hazmat, I put them a little bit higher. But yeah, E is good enough for them. And Reptile, I liked him on like the stupid superhero squad show back in the day. He was pretty dumb, but that show's fun if you want to watch a comedy Marvel show. Just for heads up there. That's an old show now, but it's the Dark Avengers. I chose this picture because it had Venom, Bullseye as Hawkeye, Daken as Wolverine, Moonstone as Miss Marvel, and Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot, all in one picture, and it didn't have Sentry and Aries and stuff, so I thought it was a good picture to choose. So I'll put them. I loved the Dark Avengers run. Now, like, as a Avengers team, it's, not the best Avengers team by any means. It's I wouldn't call them essential to go with your classic Avengers. But just as a team in general, I wouldn't say you're wrong for putting them with your Avengers shelf. I put them D. Plus, Sentry and Aries are also here in D. So, I think that's fitting for them. Great team. Really fantastic. I love that group. Individually, yeah, they all go way lower because they're all bad guys. But as the trying to pretend to be good guy team, I think they're okay. Trying to think what this guy's name is. Fuse or something? Or is he Enigma? I don't know. Anyways, whoever he is F tier. Gwenpool with the land shark. F tier. This lady who is Alloy. F tier, because I have no idea who these characters are. The Maverick Red Hulk with the mustache. F tier. I don't think he was an actually official Avenger. I think he was just part of Avengers, US Avengers, essentially. And then we have the other Iron Patriot, who I know nothing about. I heard no stories about them, so F tier. Squirrel Girl, member of the not official Avengers team, the Great Lakes Avengers. So I didn't include the rest of them on the team just because they're not official Avengers. I'll put her in E because, she's not a bad character. I liked her in her little scrap she had with Wolverine during the New Avengers run. She was training with them for a minute. That was cool. No, Squirrel Girl, E. Maybe even, no, E. That's good for Squirrel Girl. We got Wheels Walensky, F. Nightshade, who's usually a Captain America villain, She joined the Occupy Avengers thing with Hawkeye after Civil War II. F. And this is Red Wolf, Will Talltree. I was surprised it took him until the Occupy Avengers runs after Civil War II to become an Avenger, because I think he would have been a great member of the team. But he didn't actually become a full member, so I guess he's F. I wanted to put him in E, but I guess I cannot, actually. And then the last person is Validator, who I did not know, but based on her costume, I assume she was from Alpha Flight. I looked her up, and yes, she is part of Omega Flight or Alpha Flight. Was also not part of the Avengers for very long, so she gets F. So that's it. That is every Avenger ever ranked from S tier to F tier. If you guys have any disagreements, let me know in the comments. I know this one's probably a lot less exciting than the original video was, because there's even more characters and none of them really got to go in the top categories here. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, made it to B. I mean, that is impressive, I think, for a new character to rank so highly among these near A-list superheroes. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I love to hear some comments. Lots of people messaged me privately after my previous video. It'd be nice to get all those messages you guys sent me. Leave in the comments. I could really use the engagement on these videos. They're fun to make. I'd like to keep doing them. I think next week I will do an action figure based tier ranking. Bucky Cap is right here. I'm thinking about doing one with Bucky Cap, since his time in the spotlight is dimming. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know how wrong I am about some of my choices. I don't think people are really going to disagree with them this time. But if you do disagree, comment below and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.